The first question. Last night you said that with the dawn of enlightenment, the space between the two eyebrows, the third eye becomes all-inclusive. The other day you said that all enlightened ones are centered in their navel. And yet the other day you have explained about the silver cord in the middle of the spine. Thus we know about three basic things as the roots of man. Explain about the relative significance and relative functions of these three things: navel center, the third eye, and the silver cord. The basic thing to be understood about these centers: wherever you are centered within, the moment you are centered, whatsoever may be the center, you fall down into the navel. If you are centered at the heart is irrelevant. Centering is meaningful. Or you are centered at the third eye. The third eye is not basic. The basic is that your consciousness is centered. So whatsoever may be the point of centering, once you are centered anywhere, you will fall down into the navel. The basic existential center is navel. But your functional center may be anywhere. From that center you will fall down automatically. There is no need to think about it. And this is not so only with heart center or third eye center. If you are really centered in reason also, in head also, you will fall down to the navel center. Centering is the thing, but it is very difficult to be centered in the reason, at the head. There are problems. The heart center is based on love, faith, surrender. The head center is based on doubt, negation. To be totally negating is really impossible. To be totally in doubt is impossible. But it has happened sometimes, because impossible also happens. Sometimes, if your doubt comes to such intensity that there remains nothing which is believed, not even this doubting mind is believed. The doubt turns itself upon itself. When everything becomes doubt, you will fall down to the navel center immediately. But this is a very rare phenomenon. Trust is easier. You can trust totally more easily than you can doubt totally. You can say yes totally more easily than you can say no. So even if you are centered at the head, the centering is basic. You will fall down to your existential roots. So be centered anywhere. A spine will do, heart will do, head will do, or you can find other centers also in the body. Buddhists talk 9 dynamic centers in the body. Hindus talk about 7 chakras, 7 dynamic centers in the body. Tibetans talk about 13 centers in the body. You can find out your own also. There is no need. Any point in the body can be made an object of centering. For example, tantra uses sex center for centering, for bringing your consciousness totally to it. That will do. Taoists have used the big toe as the center. Move your consciousness down to the big toe. Remain there. Forget the whole body. Let your whole consciousness go to the toe. That will do. Because really, on what you are centering is irrelevant. You are centering. That is basic. The thing happens because of centering, not because of the center. Remember this. The center is not significant. Centering is significant. So don't be puzzled, because in so many methods, in 112 methods, many centers will be used. So don't get puzzled that which center is more important or which is real. Any center will do. You can choose according to your liking. If a man is very sexual, it is good to choose the sex center. Use it. Because your consciousness is naturally flowing towards it. So better to choose it. But it has become difficult to choose sex centers. That is one of the most natural centers. Your consciousness is attracted towards it biologically. Why not use this biological force towards inner transformation? Make it the point of your centering. But social conditioning, so-called sex repressive teachings, moralizing, they have done a deep harm. You are disjoined from your sex center. Really, our image of our own selves excludes sex center out of it. Imagine your body. You will leave your sex organ out of it. That's why many people feel as if their sex organs are something different from them. That they are not part. That's why so much hiding, so much becoming unconscious. If someone comes from space, from some other planet, and sees you, he will not be able to conceive that you have any sex center. If he listens to your talk, he will not be able to understand that there exists anything like sex. If he moves in your society, in the former world, he will not know that anything like sex is happening. We have created a division. A barrier is there, and we have cut off the sex center from ourselves. Really, because of sex, we have divided the body into two. The upper means higher in our minds, and the lower means lower, condemned. So lower is not just an information about the position. It is valuation also. You don't think yourself that the lower body is you. If someone asks you, where are you in your body? You will show to your head. That is the highest. That's why Brahmins in India, they say, we are the head. And Sudras, the untouchables, they are the feet. The feet are lower than the head. Really, you are the head, and the feet and the other parts belong to you. They are not you. To divide this, we have made two-part clothes, for the upper body and for the lower body. To divide body in two, there is a subtle division. The lower body is not part of you. It hangs with you. That's another thing. That's why it is difficult to use sex center for centering. But if you can use, that is the best. Because biologically, your energy is flowing towards that center. Concentrate on it. Whenever you feel any sexual urge, close your eyes, feel your energy is flowing towards the sex center. Make it a meditation. Feel yourself centered in the center. And suddenly, you will feel a change of quality in the energy. Sexuality will disappear. And the sex center will become illumined, full of energy, dynamic, life. At its peak, you will feel at the center. And if you are centered really, sex will be forgotten completely at that moment. And from the sex center, you will feel energy flowing all over the body, even transcending the body and going into the cosmos. If you are totally centered at the sex center, suddenly you will be thrown to your basic root at the navel. Tantra has used sex center, and I think Tantra has been one of the most scientific approaches towards human transformation. Because to use sex is very scientific. When mind is already flowing towards it, why not use this natural flow as a vehicle? That is the basic difference within Tantra and so-called moral teachings. Moral teachings can never use sex center for transformation. They are afraid. And one who is afraid of the sex energy really will find it very, very difficult to transform himself or herself. Because he is fighting against the current, unnecessarily flowing against the river. It is easy to flow with the river. Float. And if you can float without any conflict, you can use the center for any center will do. You can create your own centers. No need to be traditional. All centers are devices. Devices for centering. When you are centered, you will come down to your navel automatically. A centered consciousness goes back to the original source. Second question. Buddha inspired a large number of persons to become sannyasis, begging for their meals and being away from society, business and politics. Buddha himself lived an ascetic life. This monastic life seems to be the other extreme of the worldly life. This doesn't seem to be the middle path. it will be difficult to understand, because you are not aware what is the other end of worldly life. The end of life is always death. There have been teachers who say that suicide is the only path. And not in the past, even now, in the present, there are thinkers who say life is absurd. Life as such is meaningless. Then death becomes meaningful. Life and death are the polar opposites. So the opposite to life is death. Try to understand it. And it will be helpful, very helpful, for you to find out the way for yourself. If death is the polar opposite of life, you can death very easily. And it happens. When someone commits a suicide, have you ever observed that the person who commits suicide was too much attached to life? Only those who are too much attached to life can commit suicide. For example, you are too much attached with your wife or with your husband, and you think you cannot live without him or her. Then your wife dies and you commit suicide. The mind has moved to the other end, too much attached with life. When life frustrates, the mind can move to the other end. But suicides are of two types. Wholesale suicide and gradual suicide. You can commit gradual suicide, withdrawing yourself from life by and by, cutting your moorings in the life by and by. Dying slowly, gradually. In Buddha's time, there were schools who preached suicide. They were the real opposites to life, to worldly life. There were schools who were teaching that to commit suicide is the only way out of this nonsense, which we call life, out of this suffering. You will have to suffer, they said, if you are alive. There is no way of going beyond misery while alive. So commit suicide, destroy yourself. And when we hear this, it looks too extremist a view. But try to understand it deeply. It carries some meaning. Sigmund Freud, after 40 years of constant work with human mind, one of the longest work one individual can do, came to conclude that man as he is cannot be happy. The very way mind functions creates misery. So at the most, less misery, more misery, that can be the choice. No misery cannot be the choice. If you adjust your mind, you will be less miserable, that's all. looks very hopeless. Existentialists, Sartre, Camus and others, they say that life can never be blissful. The very nature of life is dread, anguish, suffering. So at the most one can do is to face it bravely, with no hope. You can only face bravely. That's all. With no hope. The situation as such is hopeless. Camus asks, then if this is the situation, then why not commit suicide? If there is no way to go beyond in life, then why not live this life? One of Dostoevsky's characters in one of the greatest novels of the world, in Brothers Karamazov, says that I am trying to find out where your God is, just to return him the entrance ticket. Entrance ticket to life. I don't want to be here. And if there is any God, he must be very violent, cruel. That character says, because without asking me, I have been thrown in life. It has never been my choice. Why I am alive without my choice? So there were many schools in Buddha's time. Buddha's time was one of the most intellectually dynamic periods in human history. There was Ajit Case Kambal. You may not have heard the name, because those who preach suicide, it is difficult to create a following around them. So no church exists around Ajit Case Kambal, but he taught continuously for 50 years that only suicide is the way. It is reported, someone asked Ajit, then why you have not committed suicide up to now? He said, just to preach. I have to suffer life. And I have a message to give to the world. If I commit suicide, then who will preach? Who will teach this message? Just to give the message. I am here. Otherwise, life is not worth living. This is the opposite extreme of life, the so-called life we live. Buddha's was the middle path. Buddha said neither death nor life. That is what sannyas means. Neither attached to life nor repulsed. Just in the middle. So Buddha says sannyas is just to be in the middle. Sannyas is not negation of life. Sannyas is negation of both life and death. We are neither concerned with life nor death. Then you become a sannyasi. If you can see the polar opposites, life and death, then Buddha's initiation into sannyas is just initiation in the middle path. So sannyasin is not really against life. If he is, then he is not a sannyasin. Then really he is neurotic. He has gone to the other extreme. A sannyasin is a very balanced consciousness, balanced just in the middle. Life is misery, so mind says then move to the other end. But to go deep, life is misery because you are at the extreme. That is the Buddhist idea. Life is misery because it is one extreme. Death will also be misery because that is another extreme. Bliss is just in the middle. Bliss is balance. A sannyasin is a balanced being, neither leaning to right nor to left. Neither a leftist nor a rightist, just in the middle. Silent, unmoving, non-choosing this or that, in a no choice, remaining in the center. Don't choose death. Choice is misery. If you choose death, you have chosen misery. If you choose life, you have chosen misery. Because life and death are two extremes. And remember, two extremes of one thing. They are not really two. One thing is stretched at two poles, life and death. So if you choose one, you will have to go against the other. That creates misery, because death is implied in life. You cannot choose life without choosing death, or can you? The moment you choose life, you have chosen death. That will create misery, because you have chosen life and death will be there. You have chosen happiness. Simultaneously, without your knowing, you have chosen unhappiness, because that is part of it. You have chosen love, you have chosen hate. The other is intrinsic in it. It is hidden there. And one who chooses love will suffer. Because then hate, when he will come to hate, he will suffer. Don't choose, be in the middle. In the middle is the truth. At one end is death, at another end is life. In the middle, the energy moving between these two is the truth. Don't choose, because choice means choice of something against something. To be in the middle means choiceless. And then you will have the whole thing. And when you have not chosen, you cannot be made miserable. Man is made miserable through choice. Don't choose. Just be. Arduous. Appears impossible. But try it. Whenever you have two opposites, try. Try to be in the middle. By and by, you will know the hunch, the feel. And once you know the feel, how to be in the middle, it is a delicate thing. Very delicate. The most delicate in life. Once you have the feel, nothing can disturb you. Nothing can make you suffer. Then you exist. without suffering. That's what a sannyasin means, to exist without suffering. But to exist without suffering, you have to exist without choice. Be in the middle. And Buddha has tried, for the first time so consciously, to create a path of being always in the middle. Question: enlighten us about the few practical points for the opening and the development of the heart center. The first point: try to be headless. Visualize yourself headless. Move headlessly. Sounds absurd. But it is one of the most important exercises. Try it and then you will know. Walk and feel that as if you have no head. In the beginning it will be as if. It will be very weird. When the feeling will come to you that you have no head, it will be very weird and strange. But by and by you will settle down at the heart. There is one law. You may have seen. If someone is blind, then he has more keen ears, more musical ears. Blind men are more musical. Their feeling for music is deeper. Why? The energy that moves through the eyes cannot move through the eyes. It chooses a different path. Then it moves through the ears. Blind men have a deeper sensitivity of touch. If a blind man touches you, you will feel the difference. Because we ordinarily do much work of touch through our eyes. We are touching each other through our eyes. A blind man cannot touch through the eyes. The energy moves through his hands. A blind man is more sensitive than anyone who has eyes. It need not be so, but it is so. Energy starts to move from another center if one center is not there. This exercise I am talking, the exercise in headlessness. Try this. And suddenly you will feel a strange thing. As if for the first time you are at the heart. Walk headlessly. Sit down to meditate, close your eyes and feel simply this, that there is no head. My head has disappeared. In the beginning, it is just as if. But by and by, you will feel that really the head has disappeared. And when you will feel the head disappears, your center will fall down to the heart. Immediately, you will be looking at the world through the heart, not through the head. When for the first time Westerners reached Japan, couldn't believe that Japan has traditionally been thinking for centuries that they think through the belly. If you ask a Japanese child, if he is not educated in Western ways, if you ask him, where is your thinking? He will show his belly. Centuries and centuries have passed and Japan has been living without the head. It is just a concept. If I ask you, where is your thinking going on? You will point out the head. But a Japanese will point out the belly, not the head. And one of the reasons why Japanese mind is more calm and quiet and collected is this. Now it is disturbed because West has spread over everything. Now there exists no East. Only in some individuals here and there. Like islands, East exists. Geographically, East has disappeared. Now the whole world is West. Try headlessness. Meditate. Standing before your mirror in the bath, look deep into your own eyes and feel that you are looking from the heart. By and by, heart center will begin to function. And when heart functions, it changes your total personality, the total structure, the whole pattern. Because heart has its own ways. So the first thing, try headlessness. Second, be more loving. Because love cannot function through the head. Be more loving. That's why when someone is in love, he loses his head. People say he has gone mad. If you are not mad and in love, then you are not in love really. The head must be lost. If head is there, unaffected, functioning ordinarily, then love is not possible. Because for love you need the heart to function, not the head. It is a function of the heart. So it happens that a very rational person, when falls in love, becomes stupid. He himself feels what stupidity he is doing, what silliness, what he is doing. Then he makes two parts of his life. He creates a division. Heart becomes a private, intimate affair. When he moves out of his house, he moves out of his heart. He lives in the world with the head and only comes down to the heart when he is loving, but it is very difficult. It is very difficult. And ordinarily it never happens. I was staying in Calcutta in some friend's house, and the friend was a justice of the High Court. His wife told me that I have only one problem. to tell to you, if you can help me. So I asked him, what is the problem? She said, my husband is your friend. He loves you and respects you. If you say something to him, it may be helpful. So I asked him, what is to be said? Tell me. She said, he remains a high court judge even in the bed. I have not known a lover, a friend, a husband. He is a high court judge 24 hours. It is difficult. It is difficult to come from your pedestal down. It becomes a fixed attitude. If you are a businessman, you will remain a businessman in the bad also. It is difficult to accommodate two persons within. And it is not easy to change your pattern completely, immediately, anytime you like. It is difficult. But if you are in love, you will have to come down from the head. So for this meditation, try more and more loving. And when I say, be more loving, I mean change your quality of relationship. Let it be based on love. Not only with your wife or with your child or with your friend. Towards life as such, become more loving. That's what Mahavir and Buddha have talked about non-violence. That is just to create a loving attitude towards life. Mahavir moves. He walks. He remains aware, not even to kill an ant. Why? Really, the ant is no concern. He is coming down from the head to the heart. He is creating a loving attitude towards life as such. The more your relationship is based on love, all relationships, the more your heart center will function. It will start working. You will look at the world through different eyes. Because heart has its own way of looking at the world. The mind can never look in that way. That is impossible for the mind. The mind can only analyze. The heart synthesizes. The mind can only dissect, divide. It is a divider. Only the heart gives unity. When you can look through the heart, the whole universe looks one unity. When you approach through the mind, the whole world becomes atomic. No unity. Atoms and atoms and atoms. Heart gives a unitary experience. It joins together. And the ultimate synthesis is God. If you can look through the heart, the whole universe looks as one. That oneness is God. That's why science can never find God. That is impossible because the method applied can never reach to the ultimate unity. The very method of science is the reason, analysis, division. So science comes to molecules, atoms, electrons. They will go on dividing. They can never come to the organic unity of the whole. The whole is impossible to look through science because it is impossible to look through head. Be more loving. Remember, whatsoever you are doing, The quality of love must be there. This has to be a constant remembrance. You are walking on the grass. Feel, grass is alive. Every blade is as much alive as you are. Mahatma Gandhi was staying with Rabindranath in Santiniketan. And look at the different approaches. Gandhi's non-violence was a mind affair. He was very reasoning about it, rational about it. He thought over it. He struggled over it. He pondered, contemplated, and then he concluded. He experimented, then he concluded. If you have read his autobiography, he has named the book Experiments with Truth. The very word experiments is scientific, of the reason. A lab word. He was staying with Rabindranath, the poet, and they both went for a walk in the gardens. The lawn was green, alive. So Gandhi said to Rabindranath, "Come to the lawn." Rabindranath said, "That's impossible. I cannot walk over the lawn. Every blade is so much alive as I am. I cannot step over so alive a phenomenon." And Rabindranath was not a preacher of non-violence. Not at all. He never talked about non-violence. But his approach was through the heart. He feels the grass. When he said, then Gandhi pondered over it. And then he said, "You are right. This is a mind approach. This is a mind approach." Be loving. Even with things, be loving. If you are sitting on a chair, be loving. Feel the chair. Have a feeling of gratitude. The chair is giving comfort to you. Feel the touch. Love it. Have a loving feeling. The chair is not important. You are eating. Eat lovingly. Indians say that food is divine. The meaning is, when you are eating, the food is giving you life, energy, vitality. Be grateful. Be loving to it. Ordinarily we eat food very violently, as if we are killing something. Not absorbing, killing. Or very indifferently you go on throwing things into your belly without any feeling. Touch your food lovingly, with gratitude. It is your life. Take it in. Taste it. Enjoy it. Don't be indifferent and don't be violent. Our teeth are very violent because of animal heritage. Animals have no other weapons. Nails and teeth are the only weapon of violence. So your teeth is basically a weapon. So people go on killing by their teeth. They kill their food. That's why more violent you are, more you will need food. But there is a limit to food. So one goes on smoking or one goes on chewing gum. That is violence. You enjoy it because you are killing something with your teeth, grinding something with your teeth. So one goes on chewing gum or pan. This is part of violence. Do whatsoever you are doing, do it lovingly. Don't be indifferent. Then your heart center will start functioning. You will come down deep in the heart. Thirdly, first, try headlessness. Second, try love. Third, be more and more aesthetic, sensitive towards beauty, towards music, towards all that touches the heart. If this world can be trained more for music and less for mathematics, we will have a better humanity. If we can train human mind more for poetry and less for philosophy, we will have a better humanity. Because while you are listening music or playing music, mind is not needed. You drop from the mind. Be more aesthetic, more poetic, more sensitive. You need not be a great musician or a great poet or a great painter, but you can enjoy. And you can create something in your own right. There is no need to be a Picasso. But you can paint your house yourself. You can paint some pictures. No need to be a maestro, Alauddin Khan. But you can play something in your house. You can play on a lute, howsoever amateur is. But do something which is concerned with the heart. Sing, dance, do something which is concerned with the heart. Be more sensitive to the world of the heart. And much is not needed to be sensitive. Even a poor man can be sensitive. Riches are not needed. You need not have a palace, then you can be sensitive. If you are just lying on the beach, it is enough to be sensitive. You can be sensitive to the sand, you can be sensitive to the sun, you can be sensitive to the waves, to the wind, to the trees, to the sky. The whole world is for you to be sensitive. Try to be more sensitive, alive, and actively sensitive. Because the whole world has become passive. You go to a cinema hall. Someone else is doing something and you just sit there and see. Someone else is loving on the screen, and you are seeing. You are just a voyeur, passively dead, not doing anything. You are not a participant. Unless you are a participant, your heart center will not function. So it is better sometimes to dance. You are not going to be a Udasankar. There is no need. Howsoever awkward, but dance. That will give you the feeling of the heart. While dancing, your center will be heart. It can never be the mind. Jump, play like children. Sometimes forget completely your name, your prestige, your degrees. Forget them completely. Be childlike. Don't be serious. Take sometimes life as a fun. And the heart develops. And the heart gathers energy. And when you have a heart alive, your mind's quality will also change. Then you can go to the mind. You can function through the mind, but then the mind will become just instrument. You can use it. Then you are not obsessed with it. You can move away from it any moment you like. You are a master. The heart will give you a feeling that you are a master. And another thing you will come to know, that you are neither the head nor the heart, because you can move from heart to head, from head to heart. You are something else, X. If you remain in the head and never move anywhere, you become identified with the head. You don't know you are different. This movement from heart to head and head to heart will give you the feeling certainly that you are different. Sometimes you are at the heart and sometimes you are at the head. You are neither heart nor head. This third point of awareness will lead you to the third center, to the navel. And the navel is really not a center. There you are. That's why it cannot be developed. It can only be discovered. Third question. You said Western psychologists now say it is better not to avoid fighting in a love relationship, and that facing it when it comes makes the love more intense. Then you spoke of Buddha's middle path, which eschews both extremes. For those who have not yet transcended into the love that is beyond the two poles, which way is preferable, in your opinion, for lovers? Some basic points. First, mind's love is bound to be moving between two polar opposites of hate and love. With mind, duality is bound to be there. So if you are loving to someone with your mind, you cannot escape the other pole. You can hide it. You can suppress it. You can forget about it. The so-called cultured are always doing that. But then they become numb, dead. If you cannot fight with your lover, if you cannot be angry, then the authenticity of the love is lost. If you suppress your anger, that suppressed anger will become a part of you. And that suppressed anger will not allow you total let go while in love. It is always there, withholding. If you have suppressed it, I am angry, I have suppressed it. So when I am loving, that suppressed anger is there, and that will make my love dead. I have not been authentic in my anger, now I cannot be authentic in my love. If you are authentic, then you are authentic in both. If you are not authentic in one, you cannot be authentic in the other. So-called teachings all over the world, civilization, culture, they have deadened love completely. And in the name of love, this has happened. They say if you love someone, then don't be angry. Your love is false if you are angry. Then don't fight. Then don't hate. Of course, it looks logical. If you are in love, how can you hate? So we cut the hate part. But with the hate part cut, the love becomes important. It is as if you have cut one leg of a man and then you say, now you move. Now you can run, you are free to run. But you have cut one leg. The man cannot move. Hate and love are two polars of one phenomenon. If you cut hate, love will be dead, impotent. That's why every family has become impotent. And then you become afraid of letting go. When you are in love, you cannot let go completely because you are afraid. If you let go completely, the anger, the violence, the hate that is hidden and suppressed may come out. So you have to force it continuously deep down. You have to fight it continuously. So you have to force it continuously deep down. You have to fight it continuously. And in fighting it, you cannot be natural and spontaneous. Then you just pose that you are loving. You pretend. And everyone knows. Your wife knows you are pretending. You know your wife is pretending. Everyone is pretending. The whole life becomes false. With the mind, two things you have to do. Either go beyond mind. Go in meditation and touch the level of no mind within you. Then you will have a love. That love will not have any polar opposites. But then in that love there will be no excitement, no passion. That love will be silent. A deep peace. Not even a ripple on it. A Buddha, a Jesus, they also love. But in that love there is no excitement, no fever. The fever comes from the polar opposite. The excitement comes from the polar opposite. Two polar opposites create tension. Their love is a silent phenomenon. So only those who reach to this state of no mind can understand their love. Jesus was passing, and it was a hot noon. He was tired, so he just rested under a tree. He didn't know to whom that tree belonged. It belonged to Mary Magdalene. Mary was a prostitute. She looked from her window. A very beautiful man. One of the most beautiful ever born. She felt attracted. Not only attracted, she felt passion. She came out. She asked Jesus that, come into my house. Why are you resting here? You are welcome. Jesus saw in her eyes passion, love, so-called love. Jesus said, next time, when I will be tired again, passing from here, I will come to your house. But just now, the need is fulfilled. I am ready to move again. So thank you. Mary felt insulted. It was rare. Really, she had never invited anyone before. People will come from far away just to have a look of her. Even kings will come to her. And this beggar, Jesus was just a beggar, a vagabond, just a hippie. And he refuses. So Mary said to Jesus, can't you feel my love? This is a love invitation. So come, don't reject me. Don't you have any love in your heart? Jesus is said to have replied that I also love you. And really, all those who come pretending that they love you, they don't love you. In fact, only I can love you. And he is right. But that love has a different quality. That love has not the polar opposite, the contrast. So the tension is missing, the excitement is missing. He is not excited about love, not feverish. And love is not a relationship for him. It is a state of being. Go beyond mind, reach to a level of no mind, then love flowers. But that love has no opposite to it. Beyond mind, there is no opposite to anything. Beyond mind, everything is one. Within mind, everything is divided into two. So if you are within mind, it is better to be authentic than to be false. So be authentic when you feel angry towards your lover or your beloved. Be authentic while you are in anger. And then, with no repression, while the moment of love will come, when the mind will move to the other extreme, you will have a spontaneous flow. So with mind, take fighting as part. It is the very dynamism of the mind to work in polar opposites. So be authentic in your anger, be authentic in your fight, then you will be authentic in your love also. So for lovers, I would like to say be authentic. But if you are really authentic, a unique phenomena will happen. You will become wearied of the whole nonsense of moving in polar opposites. But be authentic, otherwise you will never be wearied. A repressed mind never becomes really aware that he is gripped in polar opposites. He is never really angry, he is never really in love, so he has no real experience of the mind. So, I suggest be authentic. Don't be false. Be real. And authenticity has its own beauty. Your lover, your beloved will understand. When you are really angry, authentically angry. Only a false anger or a false non-anger cannot be forgiven. Only a false face cannot be forgiven. Be authentic, and then you will be authentic in love also. And that authentic love will compensate. And through this authentic living, you will become wearied. You will come to know that what you are doing, you are just a pendulum moving from one pole to another. You will be bored. And then only you can decide to move beyond mind and beyond polarity. Be an authentic man or be an authentic woman. Don't allow any falsity. Don't pretend. Be real and suffer reality. Suffering is good. Suffering is really training, a discipline. Suffer it. Suffer anger and suffer love and suffer hate. And remember only one thing, never be false. If you don't feel love, then say that you don't feel love. Don't pretend. Don't try to show that you are loving. If you are angry, then tell that you are angry and be angry. There will be much suffering. Suffer it. But through that suffering, a new consciousness is born. You become aware of the whole nonsense. Hate and love. And you hate the same person. And you also love the same person. And you go on moving in circles. That circle will become crystal clear for you. And it becomes crystal clear only through suffering. Don't escape suffering. You need a real suffering. It is like a fire. It will burn you. All that is false will burn. And all that is real will be there. This is what existentialists call authenticity. Be authentic. And then you cannot be more in the mind. Be unauthentic and you will be for lives and lives in the mind. Get bored of the dualism. But how one gets bored of the dualism? Unless one is really in the dualism. Not pretending. Then you will know this so-called love of the mind is nothing but a disease. Have you observed a lover cannot sleep? He is not at ease. He is feverish. If you examine him, he will show many symptoms of many diseases. This love, this so-called love of mind and body, is really a disease. But one remains occupied. That's the function of it. Otherwise you will feel unoccupied, not doing anything in this world. The whole life will seem vacant. Love is good to fill it. Mind itself is the disease. So whatsoever belongs to the mind is going to be a disease. Only beyond mind, where you are, not divided in dualities, one. Only there flowers a different love. Jesus calls it love. Buddha calls it compassion. Just to make the difference. Whatsoever you call it, there is a possibility of a love which has no opposite to it. But that love can come only when you go beyond of this love. And to go beyond, I suggest you authenticity, to be authentic. In hate, in love, in anger, in everything, authentic, real, not pretending. Because only a reality can be transcended. You cannot transcend unreal things.